Hello, everybody. It is your boy KG82 Live, aka the Cyclones Bookie, aka your defending Yarski champion. I am here with my co-host, as always, Mr. Jacob Biltino. Biltino, your Cubbies are doing hot. You got the W flag behind you.
I
How
know
are we doing today, man?
I got them on right above me here. They're up 2-0. We got a rookie that just got called up that made a good catch before. So life's good. I got the windows cracked behind me there. Fresh air in the house. Life's good. And looks like Luddy's getting some fresh air outside. How you doing, Luddy?
I'm a little worried. He looked completely frozen as soon
Oh
as we
yeah,
started
boy.
clicking
Yeah, he,
recording.
yeah, he definitely froze. So for those of you that don't know, Luddy was in his garage and had poor signal.
My
Went
phone?
outside, it seemed fine. And now he is frozen outside of his house.
Check, Luddy. Check.
Should I text him?
Um,
Oh, he's cutting a little. He's trying.
This is the beauty where we don't know if this is good podcasting or if we
good
just let him
Lord.
in here. What was that,
Yeah.
Luddy?
Kyler needs some more cupcakes.
Am I back?
We hear you.
We can hear
the
you.
video isn't working.
Can we click on him and just
Are you?
can you make him the main guy so we can see what he looks like, or is that how it records?
He should be good.
Usually it switches from person to person, but right now it's just got you all the time.
I can.
Oh, Bill, that's just your view messed up.
I know,
can-
that's what I'm
Yeah,
trying
you
to switch right
guys
now.
are-
There we go. Now I can see him better.
Good podcasting. Still waiting
Oh,
for
no.
Luddy to come through.
Now he's just a dark
Am I
screen.
back?
There you go.
Oh.
Hey,
Oh, check.
looks like you're in the
Am I
kitchen now,
back?
maybe? Nope, you're in the
You're good. We got you.
out by the garage.
I'm still camping outside.
All right,
If
Luddy. Hey,
anybody's bored,
without further,
324 Timberline, I'm outside.
we don't know how long we're going to get to you. So, Luddy, we are pleased. We are excited. We have our annual guest of the #1 guest of the season every year. How are we doing, Luddy?
We're doing good. We got a Leinenkugels tonight, a little juicy peach still from the draft instead of Bush Light, and
Love
Built's
that.
not stuck in a cooler like last year.
I've
It's
got
nice outside.
got myself a swarm.
Oh, geez. All right, let's just get to the real stuff, important stuff that matters. Luddy,
Hey, maybe
we have
guest
you.
appearance from Kirby's grandma. Kyler, go ring on her doorbell.
Yeah, it looks pretty dark. Oh, there's light on over there.
Oh, she's having herself a whiskey. Come on now. She never has herself a little bit of drink before bed. But
Yeah,
with that in
shout
mind,
out to
buddy.
Grandma Baiting. She had a 89th birthday the other day.
Oh, yeah, she did. She's approaching 90 damn near. So that'll be a one for the record books, damn it.
That's impressive.
Yeah, but with that in mind, Luddy, the much anticipated golf rankings. I know that everyone's waiting for him. Ross has been mentioning it in the comments. He is ready to see where he ranks compared to last year. So without further ado, do you kind of want to set the stage or do you want me to kind of run through last year's rankings as a reminder to everybody?
Yeah, why don't you run through the power rankings that we had last year from 10 to down to 1?
Beautiful. Okay, so I did a little homework before, and with Luddy's help, we looked at last year's rankings. And so starting at 10, we had Jared, who obviously was not there for last year's golf outing, so he pseudo goes at number 10. Number 9, we had Joel. Number 8, we had Schultes. And number 7, we had Josh. So that was a surprising low one last year. We'll see if he can bounce back. At 6, we had Roscoe, who was upset with the rankings. We'll see if he's on the rise. Number 5, myself. Number 4, Pooty. Number 3, Biltino with the big upset as Sap was the number 2 slot and Luddy, surprise, was number 1. So that's the foundation of what we were at last year, Luddy. Now take it away and give your overall thoughts on the golf outing this year.
Yeah, I went back and I watched the video from last year, and we had a lot more details on who hit what shot and how many shots we used. But obviously, we used 3 tee shots from everybody this year. So that was kind of the new twist. I think it went pretty good. There was some confusion with Axe and Tap for God knows why I couldn't figure it out. But
Waxman just never checks his phone.
you used 3 tee shots if everybody had to pick one, kind of going in blind. I think it worked out good. I heard some feedback for next year, maybe only do 2 tee shots that way. That way you can still use some other people's shots, but it was a way for my team not to win again because, unfortunately, none of you guys can take down the champ, and And shout out to Prebeck and Schultes for hopping on board again.
Yes, it was a good outing. I think we potentially already worked out some new rules for next year, but we're going to leave that for another pod and another discussion. We got plenty of time to worry about that. But with that in mind, I know you didn't get to be able to see everyone's shots because we had two different groups. So you kind of collaborate with Bill Tino on maybe how our group did. So you want to kind of lay the foundation?
Yeah, so obviously my team won, I think at 4 under. Bilt's team was 3 under. I think Pootie's team was around,
Two over,
yeah, I was gonna say 1 or 2 over.
one or
And
two.
I think you guys came in at what, 3 or 4?
Yep, three or four. One of those
You
two.
know, so yeah, that was just, I think your team was pretty solid. You guys just had a bad day, but I think some of my
Well, Seth had his work call, and that just threw him way off.
well, I think the power rankings are gonna reflect on some of that. So
I'm nervous, but all right. I just hope I don't fall below that sixth slot, but we'll see. Go ahead and give it to us.
all right, so I think we're gonna leave Zach out of this and Pre-back out of this because we don't
Yeah.
care about them since they're not in here. But
Fuck 'em.
thanks for them for filling in. Again, Pre-back was on the winning team, and Zach hit some good shots too. But at number 10, I'm still rolling with our boy Jared. I think Belt kind of had him maybe at the 9 slot. I did not get to see Jared play at all. And again, Schultes was on my team, so I give Schultes the one up just because he got the dub. He had, according to Belt, you fill us in on some of Jared's shots, but I still have him in the 10 slot.
Yeah, I think they're probably pretty interchangeable, but the only reason I moved Jared up is because he was hitting the shit out of the ball. He might have sliced it 5 miles right a lot, but his chipping really impressed me this year. Actually, he was chipping very well. So I was more impressed than I ever had been with Jared's golf game. So that's the only reason I moved him up, and I just figured Schultes was doing his normal make a putt with a red putter. I saw him top a couple drives, so I was like, "Ooh, I'm gonna put Jared." But I mean, I think they're pretty interchangeable. Any given
Okay,
day.
well, maybe in the next 4 or 5 years, since Jared's one every 5 years golfing, maybe I'll play with him in 5 years from now, and we'll reevaluate. But number 9, we had Joel last year, but I'm moving Schultes there, even though he was on my team on the winning team. He had some top shots. Two of them were one was a full on top. We made bogey on one of those holes. I think he hit one good drive though, but he just didn't hit the ball good. And then that heavy Budweiser red putter was not flowing this year. So I told him he needed to fuel
Made
that
the
baby
game,
up.
made the round
Maybe
winner though.
maybe soak it. He No, he didn't.
Yeah, he did.
I
He
think
made that putt on 9.
Schultes did. I thought Prebeck did.
No, Schultes did.
Okay, well that
Because
was the first putt he made.
yeah, because you told us that you're just like, you guys made a putt all day, and then I'm like, well, he's gonna make this one then. So and he did.
Fuck yeah, he did.
That's what gave him the
So,
spot over Jared, really. That last
yep,
made
that's
putt.
what gave him.
That
But I
Kyler didn't
told
even
him,
remember.
no, I didn't.
His
I
gut
told him
remembered it. That's why I put him up there.
he needs to soak that putter in Budweiser for next year because that thing was just ice cold, unlike his beer. And then the 8 slot, I'm going Joel, so he's moving one up. Again, I played a lot with Joel this year, but I just don't see him passing some of those other guys, so I don't really have a whole lot of negative things to say about it. But Belt, Curb, what's your thoughts on those bottom 3 feeders?
That's where I had Joel slotted too. Yeah.
Yep. And I remember Schultes when I played with him last year. I remember he played pretty well, but wasn't exposed this year. But I'll double down on what Bill said with Jared's chipping very much improved, a strong part of his game. And the few shots that we used for his drives, it didn't penalize us too much. It was a little tough on 3 playing behind a tree that made it a little bit of a tough shot, but overall we weren't punished playing his tee shots, which is all you can really ask for.
Yeah, and Joel played well on our team. I know on the one designated drive we gave him, we kind of yanked it left, but I think that's kind of the fun part about doing the designated drive is other than like you and I, Kyler, not many guys have played like true competitive where you have like a big pressure shot. So it's kind of fun having to see those guys hit pressure shots and seeing how they responded. So like, Joel's, how competitive he is. He wanted to blast one down the middle, pulled a little bit, so he was kind of pissed. So it's just, I mean, wasn't real mad, but it was just cool to see those guys in like the pressure situations and having to actually respond.
Right. I would agree. I think that's what made it kind of fun this year was having the pressure on those guys. But again, for being your group at 3 under par, you know, Joel
Yeah.
obviously had to contribute a little bit. So
No,
Mhm.
he played well. Yeah.
All right, so we got Joel, Schultes, and Jared. So those three are the same bottom three as last year, just moved around the
yep,
order a little bit. So with that,
yep.
who do we got at the seventh slot, Luddy?
My number 7 spot is gonna be just a gut wrencher. Mr. Shane Sapp is going to 7.
As word as
That
me.
Oh my God, that kid, he's been playing atrocious golf lately. He's fighting demons at work. He's working while we're on the course. All probably the last month or two, just playing some horrible golf. He's shanking it, he's slicing it, he's topping it. He thinks he needs to hang it up. Maybe he does. I think he just needs to get better and get back to where he's used to playing. But he is going from number 2 to number 7 because I have lost so much respect for his golf game the last couple months.
Now, this is spicy. I at least have to jump in. Is this at all because he's actually playing that bags? I'm just exposed to that one round. Or is this a little bit of a sidebar to you guys betting every single week and there's some competitive juices going on?
A little bit of both, but I'm telling you, like early on in the summer, he was playing really well, and we're just back and forth when we're gambling. The last couple months, he might have gotten me a couple times, but we've been playing for like 8.5 or 9.5 shots, or 10.5 shots. He's just he's been playing very bad, and I don't know what the deal is. I don't know if it's football's here and he's focused on more gambling than golfing, but his golf game has just gone down the shitter.
Yeah, and I didn't move him that far down with what I did. I just moved down to 5 based off what you had told me all summer. I think that you said the last time you golfed with him, he shot like a 47 and a 45. So yeah, just not where he normally is. And then yeah, that phone call in hole number 1 just kind of derailed his entire round. He didn't even talk shit. It was weird.
Yeah. Yeah, I think he was a little out of his element with him being on call, and he had some work uh, stuff going on with Marky Mark. So hopefully Mark's got his shit figured out, and then that means Sap can get his shit figured out on the golf course because whew.
All right, so Sap, big fall from number 2 to 7, but who do we have at the sixth spot?
So number 6 spot, who did I have at 6 last year? I think I
Six,
had
you
Ross.
had Ross.
I'm putting Curb there. Um, I think Bill had Kirby ahead of. I think he had him ahead of Josh and Ross, but
I
I
did.
think I think with Curb being on the last place team at 3 over par, that's just not going to cut it for me. Um, I got you slipping, Curb, from 5 to 6, and I think me moving up some guys will kind of explain not why you are slipping, but maybe why some of these other guys are moving up a little bit quicker.
Yep, go ahead and explain on 5 and 4, and then we'll get Bill's reactions to the last
Yeah.
three. So go ahead
Yeah.
and check on 5 and 4.
So my number 5, I got Roscoe. He's moving up one slot, so maybe in the next couple years he's gonna be creeping up to that 4 slot. And I got Axe. I got him batting number 4. He's been playing actually really well. I think once Shane kind of took a shit, I think uh, Axe figured something out around like the Chamber Golf outing or a little slightly before, and he's hitting the ball like he's hitting it straight, but he's also got some pop behind it. Like he's actually hitting the ball with a little bit of distance that was kind of fun to see uh, this summer. And again, he was on the second place team, so obviously he played well. But I got Axe at the 5 spot.
Beautiful. Well, hey, so there last few that we talked about, Sap at 7, myself at 6, Roscoe at 5, and Josh at 4. Bill Tino, I think you had me a few spots ahead. You kind of want to give your thoughts behind it all?
Yeah, so yeah, I had Kirby up there because Kirby played well that day. Obviously with Sap kind of being on his call, Kirby kind of stepped up, played well. Hit some big shots when he needed to. I think they used Kirby shots on both par threes. Um, so his irons are well, and like usually Kirby's a driving guy. His irons were good, and then he had that little month sabbatical or whatever where I think I got a snap almost every morning of him golfing. So I thought the consistency must have been there a little bit more. So I kind of moved him up. I agree with Axman. Axman played really well for us. He had a couple shots close on a 5. I know he hit that one like 4 feet. And
Hmm.
he hit some really good drives too. So I don't disagree with anything he said. The main one was just I kind of switched Kirby around and Sap around, but everything else you said sounds good to me.
Okay. So what are we on? We're on number 3. 3, 2,
Number
Yeah,
1.
Axel's 4.
3, 2. Yep. So number 3. I'm assuming this is where we got Mr. Pudens, or you built how far? Did we get?
Well, just wait. Curb, did you get my email
If
yet?
Yes, I did get your email. I think
Can you
I
play it?
actually have it. I'm going to see if I can play it now. Hold on one second.
what? What's
Hopefully
this?
this works.
Is this me at the wedding?
Hold on. No spoilers. I have no idea what we're looking at right here.
I'm sure. Oh, dude, I
Oh,
was smoked that night.
this is okay. We're going to try
Oh
sharing the
no.
screen. It is not you at a wedding, I don't
Oh,
believe.
thank God.
Wait,
Oh, there's.
I hope I can get that for next time.
Oh,
Can you guys see it?
Yeah, play it loud.
All right, I'll see what I can do.
oh, this one I left.
Is there sound?
Can you
Yeah,
hear it?
notice.
No.
Notice tonight I'm in my house and
It
it's not
sounds like you
men's league
can't hear
night,
it.
so I'm.
If you can't hear it, Letty, you go ahead and play it from
All
your
right,
phone if you
I'll
want
play it
to.
on Caitlin's phone. She's been knocking on the window out here.
Like,
I've gotten like the death glare like numerous times. She wants her phone back. She's got to probably send me dirty pictures.
feel free to share
Nope.
those too if you need
I was gonna say no comment from Bill, Shane, Joel,
to.
because I know
Hey,
they're trying
you want to raise the views. Caitlin, I'm kidding. If
Oh.
you do watch this, we didn't want them. I'm kidding.
I know some of you take them.
Oh, Jesus Lord.
All right, let's see what I can do here. Make sure volume's up.
Oh, those are some nice thighs
Wow,
for
look
Letty
at
right there.
now that might raise the views right there.
All right,
Oh,
you ready? All
put
right,
this
we
on
need your
X.
full on attention.
Yeah, Letty, we can't hear that.
Damn it.
You're gonna have to give us the Spark Notes version of what it was. It looked like you
All
were talking
right.
about the rankings from last year and how you
Oh
dropped.
yeah. You know what? You know what I'm gonna do? I'm just gonna send that out to the Yarsky text message,
Okay,
and then everybody at this point will be like, "Ooh, I better check out that video."
there you
And
go. A little teaser
it'll work
trailer
out.
for them.
Yeah.
I'm
Yep.
pretty sure it's just me calling bullshit on Kyler and being
Oh
pissed
yeah.
off and then walking out of the conversation because I knew he
Yeah,
was going to do it.
that's exactly what it was. So, anyways, I got Pooty at the 3 spot. I got Built at number 2, and I got myself at number 1.
Yep.
So nothing's really changed too much besides a little bit last year. Built, I just, you need to take me down. I think we've been doing it 4 or 5 years, and you're still just trying to put a team together, and you're just not doing it.
Hey, I'm going to tell you what, my team, I had the exact same team this year as last year, and we really put a lot better showing. There's no wakeboarding the night before. Joel and I didn't get any arguments. So B reading a putt and telling him that he already saw it 5 times. So team camaraderie is high. I hope to have him back next year.
Yes. And the one thing I was going to say is I think Kyler was kind of referencing he wanted our group to play with Bill because we would talk shit. Obviously, Sap wasn't on his A game, but kudos to
See,
Bill
and
because
then
I feel like my shit talking game was
Oh,
on point.
it
And
was.
Luddy got only exposed to it for like a hole, and I was laying into Bill pretty much all day, and he still played very well. I think
Yeah,
out.
and Sap and I were actually riding together, and we were like, that's kind of bullshit because like Kyler did that because he knew he wouldn't have any shit talking group with him. And he basically had like Pooty, Earl, and those guys being like, "Oh, nice shot, Kyler. God, you're a good golfer. Like, tip of the cap there, buddy."
yeah, we had a great relaxing round, to be honest.
Yeah, that
Oh,
was
I
not
know.
happening if I was in your group. I was with Luddy for 3 shots, and I talked so much shit.
Well, I told Curb that we were playing, me and my team and Curb's team were playing, and then all of a sudden we're like, "Oh, we have to have somebody talk shit to Bill and Axe and Joel," and we're like, "Okay, we got to put either my group with you guys or Curb's group." And Curb laid it out on me a little bit, and I thought, "Holy shit, is this what he's doing to Bill?" And they're like, "Yes, the whole time."
I thought I played great for all the shit I was getting.
You play
And all
no,
my other
that's the
guys
whole
too.
thing. My whole kudos was shit. I brought my A game for talking shit, and you still played phenomenally. Your shot on
And
number
I think
1
I
was
only
very
told you to
clutch.
f off once.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I heard, Bill, you were kind of in your own game and in your own head that you didn't even really pay attention to what was going on.
No, I just kind of smirked and laughed and then prayed to God that I hit a good shot.
Well, you
Yeah.
played pretty damn well, all things considered. So, I mean, with that, I mean, it's another successful golf outing. I can't wait for next year and what all entails, how we're going to find a way to unseat Kyler. But I think we got something brewing for next year, and Kyler's already nervous because he wasn't included on the thoughts. So, I'm excited to see what we can cook up and see if we can get you to not finish first for once.
Bring it on, boys.
Beautiful. But with that in mind, Luddy, I know we're just going to try and wrap things up for you, but with that in mind, you got to give us a little bit of insight on your team, the draft, and how you thought week one went for you.
I was really excited about my draft. Um, thought I thought I had a pretty good draft, and I was excited about week one and going up against Ross with our little feud that we had last year going into the Sacco playoffs. Um, just kind of a disappointing first week for me. I think early on in the day, I can't remember, I didn't have a whole lot of points going. I think the Niners were my defense at 14 was the best,
Yeah.
and until Eckler started playing, he got me
Mhm.
points. And at that point, I think we were going into the Sunday night game, and I was licking my chops thinking I had pretty much an easy win with Josh Allen still going, and Ross had the kicker for the Giants, and then the Cowboys defense. And holy fuck, I got
Yeah.
fucking bent
That's
over
a
by
freaking nuke.
Yeah.
the Cowboys.
I mean,
And
what are
and
the
then
odds of that?
I still thought I had a little shot at it when Allen had I think like 10 or 11 points at halftime. And then I turned the game off and then was watching something else, and all of a sudden he kept going down in points. I thought, oh fuck, I'm gonna fucking lose. And sure shit, lost week one. And again,
Yeah.
it was a disappointing. I would only beat I think two other teams. I would have beat maybe Axe and Sap fucking Sap's score was lower than his golf game score has been. It's just embarrassing. He scored what 40 fucking points.
Yes, I feel like that's
Yeah.
something we are definitely
40
going to
and a
be
half.
touching base
Yeah.
on. And
And I'm wrong. Josh played Shane. He would have beat me. I think it was Joel would have been the only team I would have beat by like maybe less than a point. Otherwise, I would have lost to everybody. So it's not like me playing Ross with that defense would
Yeah.
have made a difference. But holy shit, Shane, 40 fucking points. My
I
God.
know.
my one thought of karma against your team was I gotta laugh that T. Higgins back on your squad and
Yeah,
scoring
what the
0 points after he got one catch for you last year to avoid the Sacco right before the game got canceled.
I thought
So,
maybe he didn't fucking even play, and yep, sure shit, he played.
Yeah, I
yep,
know. Well, I think he got targeted 8 times. He just didn't catch one of them.
yep, 0 catches on 8 targets, I'm pretty sure. So
Yeah.
What's the status on Eckler's? His ankle?
he's got an injured, he has an injured. I don't know exactly how serious it is or if he's not going to play this coming week, but it's something to monitor, that's for sure.
All right.
Maybe on the waiver wire, you're going to go snap his back up really quick.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was gonna do. So, no need to give me advice, Curb, but yeah,
So I can
No,
take
I
him off
will
the
say
waiver
this
wire.
going into the season,
Google who his backup is.
going into the season, I did like your team. I had it ranked fourth overall, and so I'm curious to where Bill Tino's going to have you in the power rankings after a tough week one loss. But obviously,
Yeah,
better days are coming for T. Higgins and Josh Allen. It's just a matter of time.
it
Yeah.
was just a bad week. We'll keep going, and my goal is to make the playoffs and at least make a run at it. Just avoid that Sacco at all costs. But it'd be pretty sweet to be on the winning side on some of these games. So we got plenty of time left. It was just a disappointing.
Yeah. Well, you got me this week, and you're projected like 114. So I mean,
Whew.
I know projections don't matter, but
Yeah, I
like
was
your team,
projected I think 111 with Ross, and I hit 85. So
yeah.
114 is nothing to scoff at. Damn, I think I'm only
No,
projected
yeah.
105.
yeah, who knows?
The
Maybe T
the
Higgins.
only thing I had to note on your team was, and I mean, it just doesn't really matter because your Niners defense actually panned out. Obviously, was you went aggressive drafting kicker and defense in the 11th and 12th rounds,
Hmm.
which a lot of guys wait till a little later. But I mean, it paid off where you got the best kicker, and then obviously the Niners scored 14, so I can't really make fun of you for it too much. And I do think the Niners probably have the best defense there is. So
Yeah, just I know you probably shouldn't do that, but I'm like, you know what? I'd like to film, and if I can get the best guys for them, because when I draft my bench guys, most of the time they
You don't know who they
suck
are.
or they get hurt. I don't even know who they are. Then I'm like, well, I'd probably
Yeah.
rather just pick somebody up early on,
Yep.
versus drafting them and not picking up the number one kicker or the a good defense. So,
Yeah.
I'm still learning, Jake. I'm still
No,
learning.
it paid off for you. I had it written down,
Yeah, it
but
was
it
my
paid off
second.
for you.
Yeah, my second best player was my fucking defense, Jake.
I know
Give me
that's
credit
why I
here, man.
couldn't say anything. I had it
Luddy,
written down. I'm like, oh
let
shit.
the guy lash out. He's finished second how many years in golf? Let him at least have this one W. Come on now.
All right.
All right. Well, hey, Luddy, we appreciate you coming on, joining us from outside the Ledwig household. So we're hopeful that some
Yeah.
people gave you a nice friendly wave, but hopefully you can
Hey,
listen into the rest of the pod tomorrow, my man.
Curb, I gotta ask you before I go. We got shout out to Jake, Sap, Axe, and Ross are all fully committed to play the Luddy Classic. I
Yes.
Oh
I
yeah.
think
Yep.
I think Kirby is committed, but he does need to let one of the Ludwig brothers know what his jacket size is
It is
by tonight.
you're already too late. I've already commented, buddy. We're already in,
Fuck.
baby. Come
There we go.
on. You
Let's
know I'm
go.
all in on the Luddy Classic.
Fuck yeah. Appreciate that, Curb. It'll be a good time. Anybody else wants to play down the road, let us know.
Hoorah, baby. Have a good
All
one,
right.
Luddy. Good seeing you, my man.
Okay.
Yep. We'll see you,
See you
Luddy.
guys. Yep. See ya.
Yep.
All right, Bill Tino. So overall, quick overview of the golf rankings. Any surprises or anything before we jump into the week one overview?
Not really. I mean, obviously, Sav's probably gonna come in and talk smack like I did last year, saying he shouldn't have dropped that far. But I don't know. I just think a lot of the guys in our group are getting just a lot better or more consistent, where it's tougher to get ranked those middle guys. So, even like for yourself or somebody like that, as easy as you could be three, which if Kyler would have put me behind Pooty, I would have been really pissed this year because Kyler told me like right after we got done golfing, he's like, God, like, I don't know if Pootie's like that for sure guy, like right behind Sap anymore. Like he wasn't playing that well. So, I think it's just we're all getting older, we're all playing more. So any of those middle guys can be ranked anywhere. So I can't wait for Sap to listen and see where he's ranked. And that's basically all I got on that because I don't know. Everyone's pretty close. So
Yep, there's that whole little mesh where it's like you and Luddy are clearly the top tier. I feel like there's a huge mesh between that Pooty, Axe, Ross, me, and Sap. Like you can put them,
yeah.
it all just depends on the day. And then Joel Schultz and Jared, their goal is maybe to get to that tier one day. So something to
Yeah,
shoot
and
for.
I mean, when Joel played league and stuff back in the day, he was closer to that tier because he was just playing all the time. He come to Breed a couple times a week, and he was shooting mid 40s. So it's like if you just play more, you get to be a little more consistent. So we'll see.
Beautiful. Yep, amen to that. But hey, I know the golf rankings take a little bit, but we gotta at least touch base briefly on some of the week one matchups. Do you have one matchup in particular that you want to highlight? We don't have to run through all of them.
No, yeah, and it was more just I don't know. I have a stopwatch going over here to make sure we don't go over an hour or two or anything. Which
What are we at
right
right
now I
now?
think plus the Luddy debacle we're at about half hour.
Okay.
But just kind of going over. I mean, obviously, just to highlight on my match, Jared, I think he's got a pretty good team. I ended up beating him by 19, but that was with 3 points from Burrow and then point 0.8 from Swift.
Mm-hmm.
So, and I think I wrote down for like draft recap type stuff, which we don't have to go over, obviously. Um, like Jared drafted Swift in the 6th round.
That
So
might have been my least favorite pick.
I know. So he better hope that they start changing their mind on Kenneth Gainwell. But I mean, his team's going to bounce back. Burrow's not going to play like that all the time.
Oh.
So that's all I really got for my match. My guys all kind of played well. I got lucky. Cam Akers got in the end zone, but otherwise my guys kind of did what I thought they would. And for his team, yes, I mean, other than Swift and Burrow, everyone kind of did what they were supposed to. So you want to talk on yours quick, and then we can get to. There's just one I want to talk about, and I think we all know which one that is. So
I know. I could speak briefly on that matchup, but really I think it was a good matchup of like one thing I'll say in general week one is it was historic across all of NFL in terms of it was very low scoring. So that's why
yeah,
the high score this week was 108 points. And usually the high score for our league is closer to 120, 130. So
yeah. Well, and like I think Anthony Richardson was the highest scoring quarterback, and he had 22 points.
Yes, so that's the
Um,
one thing that you kind of notice across the whole league. Just super low scoring. And so
yeah,
I don't think there's big things. I think I got lucky that Lamar didn't have a great game, but
yeah, and Kyler
overall my
already,
team played up to par, and I think Joel's team is going to have better days to come because I love his pick with
yeah,
Olave, but we'll just have to wait and see. But
yeah,
let's
and I know
touch base
like,
on the one key matchup that you had. I'm guessing, are you going to be talking about Sap Squad right here, or
yep. Well, yeah, those other matchups are fine. You go, Ross had his defense score, and then Booty pulled one out. But I mean, you got to talk about the elephant, or I mean, it's not really an elephant
the
score.
mice?
So I mean, if you want to say the mouse in the room, yeah, 40 and a half points. Um, and I don't completely hate his team. Andrews being out hurt him. I think he said he was golfing and stuff, so whatever. But yeah, even like, I mean, his highest scoring guy was Josh Jacobs with 8 points.
Ugh.
And then like looking at his drafts, he kind of took a risk on Jonathan Taylor. Didn't know Cup was going to be hurt, but then like it was like he thought it was 2020 or 2019 even. He drafted OBJ, Mike Thomas, Zeke, and Adam Thielen all in a row. So I think he's like trying to make up for not having Tom Brady on his team to start like getting all these veterans that play. Because like I mean, don't get me wrong, OBJ is fine, but I mean he put up 4.7, and I think that's kind of what you're gonna be able to expect out of him. Uh, but yeah, it was just and like you said, it was a weird week where no one scored very many points. But even at that, you should get lucky and have one guy go off for you. And for him, that probably been Saquon or Josh Jacobs, which neither of them did it. But no, yeah, I don't know what I think Jared threw up a 30 in there one year, like a 39 or something, but that's got to be pretty close to like historically low number for our league, which, at least this week one, it's not like the Sacco championship or anything. So get over it and move on, I suppose.
Scoring the lowest points in week one can be advantageous because then you get the first waiver wire priority.
Yeah, that's
So
true.
maybe he's got someone in mind. But my overall critique with his draft was he just took a few too many risks between because before the draft happened, Mark Andrews was already injured, I believe. I know Cooper
Yeah.
Kupp, Jerry Judy were injured, and Jonathan Taylor was suspended. So I mean,
Yep.
maybe it's going to pay off for him later in the year if he can go 2-2 through the first 4 games and then come on later in the year. But
Yeah.
it's
Well,
a
I said by
risk.
week 7 he could be one of the best teams in the league.
Yeah.
And he
So
might be
that's
1-6. He might be 1-6 at that point, but
hey, maybe his goal is not to
so
finish
yeah,
last
no,
and
I
have
mean,
his strongest team near for Sacco playoffs. So
I
whatever
think
floats the boat.
I think the crazy thing is Dak got him 6.32, but the Dallas scored 40 points.
Hmm.
So it's like you see that and you would think that he would have at least a couple more, but obviously Ross sucked that all up with his defense. So
Yep, 100%. And I'll just touch briefly on one other matchup just because I know you glossed over it, but I wanted to give a quick shout out for one of my favorite picks was Pooty nabbing Tyreek Hill. I was really hoping he'd fall to me at
yeah,
6 in the draft, and he
yeah,
was staying firm. He was kind of feeling out who he should pick, and I gave no indications, but I wanted Tyreek to fall to me, and he
yeah.
drops 39 week one, and that makes for a huge comeback against Schultes. So
I know, yeah, and
I'll be curious how he does that rest of the season. And the Jared Goff switch from Aaron Rodgers actually was the difference of him winning
yep,
this week. So a nice last
yeah.
second change there. So I'll give him his flowers this week. I know I ranked him low for the preseason power rankings, but he's trying to make the moves that matter right now.
So yeah, and I actually like his team, which we'll get to here shortly. So
Yes, we will get into that shortly. But before we touch base on next week's matchups, quick break for touching base on the trade that we had one day after the
mm-hmm.
Monday night game. We had a trade between Schultes, who traditionally doesn't trade very much. He traded Darnell Mooney and AJ Dillon away to Roscoe for David
Yep.
Montgomery and Tyler Lockett. So you want to give your high level thoughts on it as you're still watching your Cubs game right now?
No, I'm listening to you too, and I have some notes over it because you said we're going to talk about it. Yeah, the Cubs gave up 4 there. Madrigal just had a triple, so I had to see if he made it over to third in time. Um, but yeah, my thoughts on that trade. It's interesting. I'm not a big trade early guy just because I think you need to kind of see where your guys are, let them set unless you have a guy that scored high that you're questionable on. It's like get rid of them. But so yeah, I thought it was interesting. So basically, Ross traded his 5th round wide receiver for one that Schultz took in the 16th round, because that's kind of how I would base it right now, since they don't really have a lot of, like whatever resume to them yet this year.
Yep.
And then the thing I did like for Rosso is he did kind of get a handcuff. He got AJ Dillon on his team to go with Aaron Jones. So, I think it's going to work out okay for both of them, especially, if Aaron Jones starts getting less of a load or whatever happens there. But yeah, that's just kind of my thought. I thought Ross gave up a lot to start with, giving up Lockett for Mooney, but then I saw he got the handcuff, which benefits him a little bit there. So I think all in all, it's probably pretty even in the end.
Yep. I actually gave this as probably an A trade for Schultz, and I gave it like a C plus for Roscoe, where I understand the rationale of wanting to get the handcuff for Aaron Jones, but my rationale was, you know what? Let's say Aaron Jones is out. Who would you rather start, David Montgomery or AJ Dillon? And I watched AJ Dillon versus the Bears. I didn't think he had a lot of juice. Maybe I'll be proven wrong, but I like the idea of Montgomery getting those goal line carries for a Lions offense that's supposed to be pretty valuable. So,
well, it used to know. I mean, the Lions really didn't use Gibbs all that much, so maybe they're going to ease him into a role, and David Montgomery is going to be one of their lead backs. So, yeah, I would agree. Schultz has probably got the better end, but as long as Dillon doesn't get hurt, I'll knock on wood for Ross right now.
Yep. And so I thought the running backs were a wash. I would be just as happy starting Montgomery if Aaron Jones was out. And I just think Lockett's going to be a lot better than Mooney for the year just because the Bears don't throw it. So I'll say kudos to Schultz and Roscoe. You know what? You proved me wrong on trades before. Let's see if you can do it again. So you got your handcuff. Hopefully he runs wild, my man. With that in mind, let's go to the week 2 matchups. Like, is there one matchup in particular you kind of want to dive into? We don't need to dive into all of them, but is there one you're really looking at?
I don't think there's any big rivalries. Kyler and I have a rivalry on the golf course, but we don't really chalk trash in the fantasy football world. The only one that I would say is Schultz and Sapp, just because that's the only true 0-1 matchup going on. So out of that matchup, someone will be 0-2. And right now, Saps, which I know projections don't matter, but he's only projected 95.6. So you have to think there's nod to Schultz there. Schultz should have Kelsey back this week. See if Fields can learn how to run for him again. But yeah, I would say that one just because, there will be a for sure 0-2 guy out of that matchup. So everyone else is pretty even across the board. Like you said, no big rivalry games. I don't think Pooty and Jared talk too much trash to each other. So that's just the one I looked at since it'd be 0-2. What do you think?
No, I 100% agree. You get 2 0-1 teams playing each other. You start in the whole 0-2. Obviously it's still a long season, but you're playing behind the 8 ball, and that's when you start looking at the roster and potentially need to make some adjustments just because it's the top 6 make it. And
I was texting somebody anonymously today, and I said, Sapp could start getting texts from a bunch of people if he goes 0-2 because they know he might be in a panic mode, which I don't think Sapp's ever in a panic mode because he always loves his team. So and asked if we watch football games. Maybe he needs to watch a couple more, but
for someone that claims that we don't watch football games, he spends a lot of time finishing near the bottom, but we'll worry about that for another day.
Yeah, later season,
Yep. And so the one matchup, I really just kind of looked at it now. And so the one matchup I'll just kind of highlight the exact opposite of your own 1 matchups is just the 1-0 matchup between Axe and myself.
Yep.
He's projected 110, I'm 105, and it's nothing life-changing one way or another, but just those interdivision wins obviously proved very fruitful at the end of the year, especially with the 2 division winners getting the bye. So that'll be an interesting matchup. Very scared of his team because I think Trevor Lawrence looked like the real deal, and he's playing the Chiefs next week. So
he's got 3 good receivers and a good tight end. So he could be good. So
100%. So those are the 2 matchups I'll watch a little bit closer, but we are coming up near the end. But let's make sure that we kind of touch base on the power rankings that you're going to prepare for us. So with that in mind, I had the preseason power rankings built in here as well. So I won't go into any crazy detail. If people want to ask me why, go ahead. I know Pooty's already complained about his ranking to me before offline, but that's a story for another day. So, Bill Tino, you want to kind of give your general thoughts, my man?
Yeah, so start at the bottom.
Yep, bottom 4 and then 3 and 3.
Bottom 10, number 10 stays the same. Sapp for obvious reasons. 40.5 points. not good. I don't think I need to expand on that anymore. If we go up, we've got at number 9, I went to Joel. If you look at Joel last week, he was the second lowest. Which this time of year is tough to say because you like everyone's team, just because you haven't seen much yet. But kind of based off some of his guys, Derrick Henry, he didn't play as much as I thought. I mean, you being a Titans fan, you saw that they had that other running back, which he has as a handcuff. I do love Olave on his team. We'll see how Devontae Adams, if he stays with what he's doing. But just that's where I got Joel at. I don't think his bench has great depth, but that's just kind of where he's at. At 8, I have Mr. Loaded. So that's a big fall for him. I know that Kelsey was out, but let me take a look at his team again. I got to remember why I kind of did this. Justin Fields as his quarterback was kind of the main reason I dropped him so much. I watched that Bears game, and it didn't look like he had it. Their offensive line looks terrible. So he could end up getting hurt, might have to scramble a lot more. Him getting Kelsey back's great. Metcalf's good. Vontae's fine. Brees could get injured. Kamara's out for him right now, and who knows how much Kamara will play once he's back. So that's where I got Schultz at. At 7, I've got Jared. Like I said, with my matchup with Jared, I thought his team's pretty good. He gets Joe Burrow back. That's going to be a lot better for him, but I do think he had that wasted pick on a running back with Swift, so that's just one less depth for Jared there. At 6, I have Luddy.
Hold on. We're going 7 through 10, so now I get to have comments, and then I can do 3 and 3.
Sorry.
It's okay. We're still early in the season. We're getting our reps in. No, in terms of number 10, I think Sapp, unfortunately, was a no-brainer. Number 10, don't need to dive into that anymore. We already spoke to it. I think I actually had Jared, since he was preseason number 9 and his performance didn't impress me, I think I would have him there.
Yep.
And Joel, I'm not sure. I could see him being at the 7 or 8 spot for sure. And Schultz's team, I don't know what it is, but I'm still a fan of it.
Yeah.
Fields, I'm hopeful that just in general, he's going to get right, and having a running quarterback is usually a cheat code in fantasy. And Brees looked phenomenal week 1, and he had him on the bench for good reason because they weren't sure he's going to play.
Yeah.
And so between Kelsey, Brees, Chubb, Fields, I think he's got a good squad to worry about. So I think I would have him a little bit higher, but we'll see what kind of happens from there. But with that in mind, go ahead and jump into your 6 through 4.
All right. 6, I've got Luddy. So kind of the same thing. Luddy has some guys that didn't play very well, but I do like his team. And he's the last of the 0-1. So I didn't really want to put one 0-1 guy above any of the 1-0s, make week 1 worth something, I guess. So that's just kind of where I put Luddy. As my worst 1-0, I have Axman. I actually am pretty impressed with Axman's draft and everything. Let me pull up his team quick. I forget who's all on it. I think he's got Josh Allen, doesn't he? No,
he does not. That's
Kyler. There's Kyler.
He's got Trevor Lawrence.
Josh Axman, Josh Allen.
He got Trevor Lawrence, I think.
Oh yeah, Trevor Lawrence. Yeah, we just talked about that. But I think he did some other good things with it. He's got Tony Pollard, who could be hit and miss as long as he stays healthy. Gibbs is kind of, they've said big things about him. Love his receivers with Stephon and Debo. Tight end's kind of his weak spot to me, but then I think he's got a stud running back at flex with Connor. And then he's got a couple good guys coming off the bench. So then at 4, I have Ross.
Dash.
Same type of deal. Ross went 1-0. I thought his team looked pretty good. He kind of got a scare there for a little bit, not having Dallas' defense play like they did. But kind of like you said, the cheat code, he's got Jalen Hurts. I like Jamar Chase. I think Zay Flowers is going to turn out to be really good for him. He kind of obviously got screwed with the whole J.K. Dobbins thing. But across the board for him, Rachaad White should kind of be the bell horse down there. Kittle's a good tight end. His flex is kind of questionable right now, but I think once he gets that figured out, I think his team's going to be really good. So you got anything else there?
Yeah, this is where I think you're not one for controversy of having an own one team. I think I would. I think I would have Schultes all the way up, maybe at the 6 or 5 spot.
Oh yeah,
And
Nat.
I
Yep.
would have Ross all the way down at 6 or 7. So for
Okay.
whatever reason, Ross's team just doesn't do it for me. Not a fan of his flex. J.K.
Yeah.
Dobbins getting hurt. He's got to be scrambling. And Rashad White, though he was the bell cow, he wasn't very impressive in that role, at least through week 1. And you wouldn't think of the Vikings as a good defense. So I have
Yep.
cause for concern with this squad, but the Cowboys D bailed him out at least for week 1. So those are my 2 thoughts on it.
Yep. No, that's fine. I mean, yeah, it's kind of why we do it. Everyone's got different thoughts on teams. I'm
Mm-hmm.
sure you have this next guy a little lower too, based off the preseason. I got Pooty next. I don't know if it's because Pooty and I have very similar thought processes with the fantasy world. I mean, so do you and I, but this year I kind of skipped that by going quarterback early, but I wanted Mahomes bad because I was tired of always having a guy that was like projected 17 points where I could have 24. So I've got Pooty there. If you look at his team, Najee, that's less than to be desired, but Madison's going to be fine. Then he's got Tyreek, who, like you said, is a cheat code, which you loved him.
Mm-hmm.
Joku, he's always a top 8 tight end. He's got Miles Sanders as a flex, so he can always move that around and move Garrett Wilson up. So that's where I got Pooty at, and he just needs to figure out his quarterback a little better. But he's the king of flexing quarterbacks. He always did it last year. That's what killed him. And I think he's got a guy in Anthony Richardson. I think he's going to be good. He's going to have his lumps, but there's going to be games where he's going to put up like 28. There's going to be games where he puts up 12, but it's kind of boomer bust when you have a player like that anyway. So that's where I got him at the 2 slot. I have myself. It's mainly based off of you scoring more than me. Uh, and I mean, I don't know. I like both our teams. So yeah, you're going to be 1. I do think you have a little more high ceiling guys than I have. Like Bijan, I think he's going to be a beast. Kirby Gunnarsson drafting rookie running backs. Tails old as time. I think you're a little deeper on the bench than I am with Christian Watson and Mike Evans. Drake London, the verdict's still out on him.
Ugh.
But I might have you on tight ends. With you have Higby, but I don't know. I think our teams are pretty similar too. I mean, obviously I got Jefferson, which is going to save me a lot of games and everything, but
Oh yeah.
I don't know. It's pretty close up at the top there for me. With it coming down for Pooty, he's going to need if Pooty had a better quarterback, I might have him at the 2 or the 1. But
100%. Pooty, he texted me the night of the draft asking what I thought of his team, and I didn't respond until the next day. And he actually sent a follow up because he was wanting to know so bad. And I just laughed. So I took a look at him, and I put the ranking where he is solely because I thought he made one mistake, and that was when he drafted DJ Moore, I think, as his wide receiver 4, when he could have drafted Justin Herbert or Justin Fields. And so I
yeah,
thought he was going to take one of those 2 players. And by that one move, I think I would move him up in the preseason from 7 to 4.
yeah,
And so the one thing is, like you said, quarterbacks can be a very easily replaceable position if you find the right guy. I
yeah,
think he did a good move with Goff week 1, and he did a great job bailing out taking the late quarterback by taking Richardson, because that running
yeah,
can be a cheat code. So
yeah,
kudos to him on that, and we'll see if Richardson can pan out. He does play in a weaker division, so he's going to have 4 juicy matchups against the Texans and Titans every year.
yeah, exactly. And I mean, for his first week, he was the highest scoring quarterback. So, I mean, there's a lot of promise there. I don't know how bad his injury ended up being. I didn't ever look that up, but
Yeah, I think he'll be fine, but worst comes to
I think
worst,
so.
Jared
Yeah,
Goff will be a good option as well. But between
yeah,
our 2
especially that
teams, I think
Lions
that
offense.
between our 2 teams, I think they're both good. I think they're the tier above most other teams, which isn't crazy because I've always traditionally liked our 2 teams because we think
Yeah,
similarly.
yeah,
I do love that you have Waller, and I'm a little envious of that, and I'm a little bit
yeah,
deeper at the flex. So it's kind of pick your poison on all those, and
yeah,
we'll just have to wait to see what the year kind of all entails, and it'll be very interesting. And I always say that you kind of want to have a really good player at either quarterback or tight end, And
Yeah.
that's why I invested an earlier round pick in Herbert this year and punted on tight end. But I think
Yeah,
we both have
and
good squads, and everyone's going to say it's a cock sucking fest between the two of
I
us, how
know,
much we're
yeah.
liking each other's teams.
Well, I think I had the best record last year. You won the title, so it's like our teams are usually pretty decent. But yeah, no, this year, I mean, when Pooty and I looked at each other because he has a pretty similar draft philosophy as us too, and I saw there's no running backs coming back. Like everyone's taking running backs. I'm like, oh shit, this is going nowhere like how I thought it was going to. So that's when I like kind of diverged off, and I was like, well, I'm gonna take a big quarterback quick then, because I'd rather have a one quarterback or top three quarterback than like worry about a 12 through 16 running back. So,
It's a very,
but
yeah, it's a very nuanced thing. I knew with our league in the history how much we like to do running back because I was debating receiver first round, but it's like I'm just going to take my rookie guy that I like and we're
yeah,
just going to run with it. But
yeah, and that
it's,
first touchdown he has nasty. He's gonna be a beast.
well, here's the hoping, man. But you know what? That's all that we got for this week's episode. I
Yep.
mean, it's been a hell of a run. I'm excited that we got the golf power rankings. I'm disappointed I fell to 6 because I thought Luddy would say I was going to stay at 5, but something to shoot for next year, I guess.
Yeah, and I had you at 5 for my golf power ranking, so right where you thought you should have been, but
Hey, you know
so
what? We'll live and learn. And you know what? That's all that we got for at least this week one outing. I'm not sure if we'll be doing weekly pods because it can get to be a little much, but
yep,
bi-weekly or every 2 or 3 weeks, we'll make sure to give the people what they
yeah,
want. So
yep. I just figure we better get the first one in out of the way so we get golf rankings so people still remember it and all that. So, but
a-
all right, well, signing out, Kurt. We'll talk to you later, buddy.
amen, everybody. Peace out and have a good one, boys.
Yep, later, Kurt.
Later.